There is a tiny, pinecone-shaped gland buried deep within the caverns of your brain, no larger than a grain of rice, yet it has been whispered about in sacred texts, venerated by ancient mystics, and deliberately obscured by those who fear its power. This is the pineal gland, your biological antenna to the unseen, the seat of the soul, the doorway between dimensions. To understand it is to unlock the hidden architecture of reality itself, to step beyond the illusion of the five senses and into a realm where time bends, perception expands, and the impossible becomes tangible. For centuries, the esoteric traditions of the world have spoken of a third eye, an inner vision that transcends the physical. The Hindus called it the Ajna Chakra, the Egyptians encoded its secrets in the eye of Horus, and Descartes, the father of modern philosophy, declared it the very seat of the soul. Yet, in our age of hyperrationality, this tiny gland has been dismissed as a mere relic of evolution, a vestigial organ with no significant function. But what if the opposite were true? What if the pineal gland is not an accident of biology, but a deliberate design, a cosmic interface between the human body and the infinite? Science is only beginning to catch up to what the ancients knew. The pineal gland produces dimethyltryptamine, DMT, the so-called spirit molecule, a substance so potent that it induces near-death experiences, interdimensional travel, and encounters with entities beyond space and time. Indigenous shamans have used plant medicines rich in DMT for millennia to commune with gods, heal the sick, and see into the future. But you don't need a brew from the Amazon to activate this power. It is already inside you, dormant, waiting for the right key to turn the lock. Yet, awakening the pineal gland is not merely about biochemical reactions or esoteric rituals. It is about piercing the veil of consensus reality, the programmed illusion that keeps humanity asleep. We live in a world where fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, where artificial light disrupts its natural rhythms, where the noise of modern life drowns out its subtle frequencies. The suppression of this gland is no accident, it is the suppression of human potential itself. For when the pineal awakens, so does the mind. And an awakened mind cannot be controlled. Imagine, for a moment, that everything you perceive is a projection, a hologram generated by the brain, filtered through the limitations of your senses. The pineal gland is the lens through which this projection can be altered, refined, or even transcended. Those who have activated it speak of heightened intuition, lucid dreaming, telepathic communication, and even the ability to influence matter with thought. These are not the fantasies of mystics, but the suppressed science of human evolution. Nikola Tesla once said, "The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence." The pineal gland is that bridge, the point where science and spirituality converge. But this is not just about personal power. It is about the next step in human consciousness. Across the globe, a silent awakening is taking place. People are beginning to remember, to feel, that they are more than flesh and bone. They are divine sparks encased in biology, and the pineal gland is their direct line to the cosmos. When enough individuals reactivate this dormant organ, the collective frequency of humanity shifts. Reality itself becomes malleable. So the question is not if the pineal gland holds the key to superhuman abilities, but how to reclaim what has been stolen from us. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It requires dismantling the illusions you've been fed, confronting the shadows within, and stepping into a version of yourself that most of society has been conditioned to fear. But the reward? Nothing less than freedom, true freedom, the kind that cannot be legislated, censored, or contained. To grasp the full magnitude of the pineal gland's power, we must first dismantle the illusion that it is merely a passive gland, a biological afterthought. It is, in truth, a microcosm of the universe, a fractal antenna designed to receive and transmit frequencies beyond the scope of ordinary perception. Ancient civilizations knew this. Modern science is rediscovering it. And yet, between these 2 points of understanding lies a chasm of forgotten knowledge, a deliberate obscurity that has kept humanity from realizing its true potential. The pineal as the bridge between dimensions. At the heart of the pineal gland's mystery is its unique relationship with light. Unlike any other organ in the human body, the pineal is photoreceptive, meaning it responds directly to light, even though it is buried deep within the skull. This is no evolutionary fluke. It is a deliberate design, a biological nod to the gland's true function, to perceive beyond the visible spectrum. In the Vedas, the third eye is described as the Jnananakashu, the eye of wisdom. It does not see the world as the two physical eyes do, Instead, it perceives the subtle energies that shape reality. Quantum physics now echoes this ancient insight, revealing that what we call matter is, at its core, vibrating energy. The pineal gland, when fully activated, tunes into these vibrations, allowing the mind to interface with the unseen architecture of existence. This is why mystics who have awakened their pineal function report experiences of clairvoyance, astral projection, and even time dilation. They are not hallucinating. They are accessing DMT, the spirit molecule and the pineal's hidden language. One of the most compelling scientific discoveries about the pineal gland is its production of dimethyltryptamine, DMT, a molecule so potent that it has been dubbed the spirit molecule. DMT is naturally released in the brain during deep meditation, near-death experiences, and in the transitional states between wakefulness and sleep. It is also the chemical key that shamans have used for millennia to traverse the spirit world. What does this mean? It means that the pineal gland is not just a physical organ, it is a biochemical portal. When activated, it floods the brain with DMT, dissolving the boundaries of ordinary perception and allowing consciousness to expand into higher dimensions. This is not pseudoscience, it is neurochemistry meeting mysticism. The implications are staggering. If the pineal gland can be consciously activated without external substances, then every human being carries within them the potential to explore the multiverse at will. The Great Suppression, why the pineal gland has been kept dormant. If the pineal gland is so powerful, why is its true function suppressed? The answer lies in the nature of control. A population that can access higher states of consciousness is a population that cannot be easily manipulated. Throughout history, those in power have understood this. Fluoride, for instance, which is added to public water supplies, calcifies the pineal gland, rendering it less effective. Artificial light, especially the blue light emitted by screens, disrupts melatonin production, throwing the pineal's natural rhythms into chaos. Even our education systems and media environments are designed to keep us locked in beta brainwave states, the frequencies of stress, distraction, and superficial thinking, rather than the theta and gamma waves associated with deep intuition and cosmic awareness. This is not conspiracy. It is pattern recognition. The suppression of the pineal gland is the suppression of human sovereignty. The pineal and the holographic universe. Modern physics has begun to converge with ancient wisdom in a startling way, the idea that reality is a hologram. If the universe is indeed a projected illusion, then the pineal gland is the decoder, the lens through which the illusion can be navigated and even reprogrammed. This is why mystics who have activated their pineal often describe reality as malleable, as though thoughts and intentions can directly influence the fabric of existence. The pineal gland, when functioning at its highest capacity, aligns the individual with the zero-point field, the quantum vacuum where all possibilities exist. From this space, synchronicities multiply, manifestation accelerates, and the boundaries between self and universe begin to dissolve. This is not magic. It is physics. The path to activation, beyond myths and misconceptions. Many believe that pineal activation is about elaborate rituals, psychedelics, or years of isolated meditation. While these can be tools, the true key is awareness. The pineal gland responds to intention, to inner silence, to the deliberate withdrawal from the noise of the external world. Simple practices, such as sun gazing at dawn, binaural beats, or even certain breathwork techniques, can begin the process of decalcification and activation. But the most crucial element is belief. The moment you accept that the pineal gland is more than a trivial organ, you initiate its awakening. This is the core revelation. The pineal gland is not just a part of you. It is the part of you that remembers what you truly are, a multidimensional being temporarily housed in a physical form. There is a story, hidden in plain sight, etched into the stones of ancient temples and whispered in the allegories of sacred texts. It is the story of the pineal gland, not as a biological curiosity, but as the lost key to human divinity. To understand its true power, we must step beyond the sterile language of science and into the realm of myth, where truths are veiled in symbols and the deepest wisdom is written in the ink of metaphor. The pine cone and the staff of Osiris. Walk through the Vatican's courtyard of the pine cone, and you will find an enormous bronze sculpture of a pine cone, flanked by two peacocks. This is no decorative choice. The pine cone has been a universal symbol of the pineal gland for millennia, appearing in Sumerian carvings, Hindu iconography, and even the staffs of Egyptian gods. Osiris, the Lord of Resurrection, carries a staff entwined with serpents, crowned by a pine cone. The message is clear. The pineal gland is the conduit of immortality, the bridge between death and rebirth. Why a pinecone? Because it mirrors the gland's structure, layered, spiraled, fractal. Just as a pinecone holds the seeds of a forest, the pineal gland holds the seeds of higher consciousness. The serpents coiled around Osiris's staff represent the Kundalini energy, the primal life force that rises from the base of the spine to the third eye, unlocking enlightenment. This is not mere mythology. It is an encrypted blueprint for spiritual ascension. The third eye of Shiva and the Cyclops myth. In Hindu tradition, Shiva, the destroyer of illusions, is depicted with a third eye at the center of his forehead. When this eye opens, reality burns away, revealing the infinite. The Greeks, too, spoke of the Cyclops, a race of one-eyed giants. These are not coincidences. They are cultural memories of a time when humanity understood the pineal's function as an organ of higher sight. But there is a darker layer to this symbolism. The Cyclops was said to be savage, monstrous. Could this be a warning that the untamed awakening of the pineal, without wisdom, without preparation, can lead to madness? The third eye shows you the truth, but truth is a fire. It can illuminate or consume. The all-seeing eye and the forgotten rebellion. The Great Seal of the United States features an unfinished pyramid crowned by an all-seeing eye. Officially, it represents divine providence. But esoterically, it is another nod to the pineal gland, the eye that sees beyond the veil. Yet, this symbol has been co-opted, inverted. The same institutions that display it have also worked to keep humanity's third eye closed. Why? Because a sleeping populace is a controlled populace. There is an old Gnostic tale of the archons, shadowy entities that feed on human ignorance. They thrive in a world where the pineal gland is calcified, where perception is limited to the material. The moment a human being awakens their inner eye, the archons lose their grip. This is not fantasy. It is a metaphor for the systems that profit from human unconsciousness. The Philosopher's Stone and the Alchemy of Light. Medieval alchemists sought the Philosopher's Stone, a substance said to turn lead into gold and grant eternal life. Few realized they were speaking of the pineal gland. The stone is not a physical object, but the crystallized light of awakened consciousness. The alchemical process, nigredo, albedo, rubedo, mirrors the decalcification and activation of the pineal, the dissolution of illusion, blackening, the purification of perception, whitening, and the final fusion with divine light, reddening. This is why so many alchemical texts are incomprehensible to the uninitiated. They are not about chemistry. They are about the transmutation of the self. The Babel myth, the lost language of the pineal. In the Bible, humanity once spoke a single language until the Tower of Babel was struck down, and confusion reigned. This is another cipher. The one language was not words, it was the telepathic communion of pineal-activated beings. The fall was the severing of this connection, the descent into materialism. Now, we struggle to understand one another, trapped in the noise of fragmented tongues. But the pineal gland, when awakened, can restore the silent language of pure knowing. The modern day initiates pineal activation in the 21st century. Today, the symbols are still here, hidden in corporate logos, Hollywood films, and even the dollar bill. Those who know, recognize them. Those who don't, dismiss them as coincidence. But the awakening is accelerating. More people are experiencing spontaneous third eye activations, visions, lucid dreams, inexplicable knowings. The universe is pressing the reset button. The question is no longer if the pineal gland holds the key to superhuman abilities, but when you will choose to turn it. The greatest truths are useless if they remain abstract. What good is the knowledge of the pineal gland's power if it does not translate into tangible shifts in perception, ability, and lived experience? This is where theory meets practice, where cosmic insight becomes grounded in the immediacy of breath, thought, and action. To awaken the pineal gland is not to escape the world, but to see it more clearly, to navigate reality with the precision of a seer and the creativity of a god. The process is both simpler and more profound than most imagine. It requires no elaborate rituals, no blind faith in dogma, only a series of deliberate shifts in awareness and habit. Decalcification, removing the layers of modern poisoning. Before activation can occur, the pineal gland must be freed from the calcification that dulls its function. Fluoride, abundant in tap water and toothpaste, binds to the pineal tissue, forming a literal crust that inhibits its sensitivity to subtle energies. The first step is elimination. Filter your water. A high-quality fluoride filter is non-negotiable. Natural tooth care, switch to fluoride-free toothpaste or ancient alternatives like neem or miswak. Dietary detox, chlorinated foods, artificial sweeteners, and heavy metals, like mercury in some fish, must be minimized. But decalcification is not just physical. It is energetic. The pineal gland is clogged just as much by mental pollution, endless digital noise, fear-based media, the low-frequency chatter of a society that values distraction over depth. A periodic digital fast, even for a few hours a day, creates space for the pineal's natural rhythms to re-emerge. Light, the pineal's primordial activation code. The pineal gland is designed to respond to natural light cycles, particularly the rising and setting sun. Ancient cultures worshipped the sun not out of primitive superstition, but because they understood its role in regulating the gland's chemistry. Sun gazing at dawn, in the first 15 to 30 minutes of sunrise, the light carries specific frequencies that stimulate the pineal. Caution, only practice safely, never stare directly at the sun when it's bright. Darkness as a catalyst, complete darkness triggers melatonin and pinoline production, essential for DMT synthesis. Sleep in pitch-black rooms, or practice dark retreats for advanced activation. Avoid artificial light at night. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin. Use red light filters or candles in the evening. Sound, the forgotten trigger of higher perception. Certain sound frequencies resonate with the pineal gland, acting as a tuning fork for consciousness. 432 Hz music. This frequency, found in ancient tuning systems, aligns with the natural harmonics of the body. Binaural beats, specifically theta wave, 4 to 8 Hz, and gamma wave, 30 to 100 Hz, entrainment can induce states where the pineal becomes hyperactive. Mantras and sacred chants, the vibration of Sanskrit bija mantras like Om, or Thoh, associated with the third eye, creates pressure in the forehead, a sign of pineal stimulation. Breath, the alchemical furnace of energy. Breath is the bridge between voluntary and autonomic function, meaning it is the one bodily process we can consciously control that directly affects involuntary systems, like the pineal gland. Alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana, balances the left and right brain hemispheres, creating the ideal state for pineal activation. The Wim Hof method, controlled hyperventilation followed by retention, floods the brain with oxygen and alkalizes the blood, a state in which the pineal becomes highly active. Circular breathing, Tummo, used by Tibetan monks to generate inner heat and awaken dormant energies. Direct stimulation, advanced techniques for the committed. For those ready to accelerate the process. 1. Crystal resonance, placing a clear quartz or amethyst on the third eye during meditation amplifies the gland's receptivity. 2. Fasting, a 24 to 72 hour water fast triggers autophagy, where the body clears out calcified deposits, including in the pineal. 3. Psychedelics versus endogenous activation. While substances like ayahuasca or psilocybin can force open the pineal, the goal is to achieve the same states naturally through discipline. The real-world effects, what awakening feels like. As the pineal gland activates, the changes are unmistakable. Vivid dreams and lucidity. Dreams become hyperreal, and conscious control within them increases. Synchronicity surge, meaningful coincidences multiply, revealing the interconnected fabric of reality. Enhanced intuition, gut feelings become unignorable, often saving you from unseen dangers or guiding you to hidden opportunities. Non-linear time perception, moments of time dilation or time compression occur, where hours feel like minutes or vice versa. Energy sensitivity, the ability to feel the auras of people, places, and objects becomes second nature. The shadow side, navigating the challenges of awakening. Not all experiences are blissful. The pineal gland's activation can unearth suppressed traumas, amplify emotional sensitivity, and temporarily destabilize the ego. Sleep patterns may shift. Old relationships might dissolve as your frequency rises beyond their compatibility. This is not a malfunction, it is the necessary disintegration of what no longer serves your expansion. The societal implications, a world of awakened pineals. Imagine a critical mass of humanity reactivating this dormant organ. A society where telepathy replaces texting, where intention shapes matter as easily as hands shape clay, where governments cannot lie because the people feel the truth. This is not utopian fantasy, it is the next logical step in human evolution. The choice is yours. The pineal gland does not discriminate. It responds only to those who seek its power with sincerity and courage. We stand at the threshold of a silent revolution, not one fought with weapons or rhetoric, but with perception. The pineal gland is the fulcrum upon which human evolution balances, the biological lever that can tip consciousness from limitation into infinity. For millennia, this knowledge has been guarded, suppressed, and diluted. Now, it surges back into collective awareness with an urgency that cannot be ignored. This is not merely about personal enlightenment. It is about the reclamation of an ancient birthright, the ability to navigate reality not as passive witnesses, but as conscious co-creators. The grand synthesis, bridging science, spirit, and experience. Every layer of our exploration converges into a singular truth. Biologically, the pineal gland is a photoreceptor, a DMT factory, and the only brain structure not divided into hemispheres, making it the literal and symbolic unifier of duality. Energetically, it is the antenna for frequencies beyond material perception, the organ that translates thought into manifestation. Historically, its symbolism has been embedded in every major esoteric tradition, always pointing toward transcendence. Practically, its activation rewires the brain, refines intuition, and reveals the illusory nature of perceived boundaries. This is not mysticism. It is the science of the future, rediscovering the wisdom of the past. The call to action, your role in the awakening. The information is no longer hidden. The tools are in your hands. Now, the question remains, what will you do? 1. Commit to the decalcification process. Begin today. Filter your water. Restore your sleep cycles. Detox your mind from digital pollution. The body must be clean for the pineal to sing. 2. Train your perception daily. Spend at least 20 minutes in sunlight each morning. Meditate with focus on the third eye. Let sound frequencies recalibrate your brain. Discipline is the price of mastery. 3. Document the shifts. Keep a journal of synchronicities, dreams, and intuitive hits. What you record, you amplify. 4. Join the quiet revolution. Seek out others on the same path. Shared intention accelerates awakening. The ultimate revelation, you are the catalyst. The pineal gland does not grant power. It reveals the power that was always yours. Every mystical experience, every moment of déjà vu, every inexplicable knowing, these were not anomalies. They were glimpses of your true capacity, filtered through a gland half asleep. When you activate the pineal fully, you do not become supernatural. You become natural, as you were designed to be. A final warning and invitation. This path is irreversible. Once your pineal gland begins to awaken, there is no returning to the old way of seeing. The world will seem both more beautiful and more fragile. You will feel the suffering of others more deeply. You will recognize the systems of control with painful clarity. But you will also discover this: you cannot be unplugged again. The choice is yours. The time is now. The pineal age dawns, not through saviors or external forces, but through individual awakenings like yours. Will you answer the call?